Chapter 12. Miguel. Miguel didn't notice me coming down the aisle. I took a seat in the next to last row. The driver climbed aboard and gave a quick look toward the back of the crowded bus. He didn't notice me either. I was soon rolling up and over the hills out of Nogales. The bus went flying south like a bullet. Wrong direction. I was afraid that my lone wolf had given up after all and was heading home. Where would that leave me? Finally, the driver turned sharply left. I asked the woman at my elbow if she lived in Agua Prieta, where the bus was going. She said she did. I asked if it was anywhere near the border. She said it was right on the border, across from Douglas, Arizona. Late afternoon, we arrived in Agua Prieta. I kept a close eye on Miguel. Most people were getting off, and I was sure he would, too, but he stayed put. So did I, slouching in the back and hoping I wouldn't attract any attention. The bus filled with new people, and minutes later was flying along the border to the east. No metal wall separated the countries here, only the barbed wire fence my father had once described, a simple cattle fence. A green and white migrant truck was raising dust on a dirt road hugging the other side. In the next minute, I saw a second truck, then a third one. They were everywhere. The border patrol, not the fence, was going to be a problem. At his own window, Miguel was also paying close attention. With the sun setting behind us, the bus left the desert plain and began to climb the foothills of a mountain range. My Lobo was studying the mountainsides like he'd seen them before and was looking for something in particular. Suddenly, he stood and started up the aisle. I would have followed if he hadn't left his pack and walking stick behind. The foothills were full of sharp curves. As Miguel approached the driver, he had to brace to keep his feet. A bit of green showed from his fist. I didn't see the money pass hands, but I could tell he was paying the driver for an unscheduled stop. My throat suddenly was dry as rawhide. Miguel turned down the aisle. A minute later, we were slowing down. Drowsy passengers opened their eyes. Miguel had his pack and walking stick and was bracing his way forward. I grabbed my own pack and did the same. With a hiss, the bus came to a complete stop. "Go with God," someone called from behind. Miguel stepped down to the shoulder of the pavement. The bus was pulling out before he realized that someone else had gotten off. He was caught by surprise and unhappy, but he didn't even take a good look at me. Fast as he could, he started down a steep embankment, then up a dry wash. The wash was a fan of sand and gravel at the mouth of a narrow canyon. As soon as Miguel reached the canyon with the highway out of sight, he stopped to lean on his stick and scowl in my direction. I stayed well behind. Twice more he turned and scowled. What did I care? I wasn't asking him to be my friend. It got dark fast. The stars came out, but the moonlight was blocked by the canyon walls. There was barely enough light to avoid the rocks and cactus. Before long, Miguel came to a dry waterfall. He climbed around it. At a fork in the canyon, he veered left. It was easier to see now with the steep lower reaches of the canyon behind us. The moon was unblocked and half full. It had been growing. 2 weeks had gone by since I left home, but it felt like a whole lot of danger. I followed Miguel up a shallow wash. It led to a fence with 7 strands of barbed wire. I waited for him to climb over it, but he just stood there. Resting, I thought, but then he waved me toward him. I stayed where I was. He waved me forward again. This time I went. In the moonlight, his swollen face was a terrible thing to see. Broken nose, jaw askew, stitches above his right eye. He didn't say a thing, just glared at me. I pointed to the barbed wire fence. "Is that the border?" "It is," he said with disdain. "So that's the States on the other side." "Isn't that what I just said? Go ahead, cross the wire. What are you waiting for?" For the first time, I noticed his front teeth. The bottom ones were freshly missing. His wounds and his pain and his sleepy eye unnerved me. He was truly terrifying to look at. "You're the kid from the bus," he said. "The bus from Silao. Then the one from Guadalajara. You sat next to me. Started talking about green cards. And got thrown off. Don't tell me about your troubles. I got my own. It looks like we both had a rough time in Nogales. He didn't seem to have heard me. He cocked his head to one side and told me to say it again, which I did. He motioned toward his face. You talking about this? This didn't happen in Nogales. It happened on the other side. Oh, I said. You've already been across? This is your second try? I don't have time for this conversation, he growled. Go ahead, pass me. Can't you see I'm moving slow? I don't know the way. Go north. Good luck. I have a feeling it's not that easy. Whatever you say, just quit following me like a dog. It's getting on my nerves. I'll follow farther back where you won't see me. He raised the stick and shook it. Do I need to beat you like a dog? If you do, I'll still follow. You know where you're going, and I don't. I might be able to help you, Miguel. How in the devil do you know my name? From the bus. As you were showing your identification to the police. What if I carry the heavy things from your pack? You could get some of the weight off your legs. Don't worry about me running off with your food. I have my own and a jug of water. Listen, kid, I can't afford to make any more mistakes. I have a wife and 4 small children back home. Walk your own road and bear your own load. That's my motto. Any little mistake of yours would give me away. Then keep me close where you can make sure I won't make any. You are a persistent one, aren't you? Persistence is one thing I have a lot of. You're like a fly in my face, and it is just as annoying. With that, the man slipped the pack off his back. It took me a second to realize he had given in. He pulled all the food out of his pack, quite a variety. All I had left of my own was 2 tins. I showed Miguel my can of pork so it wouldn't get confused with one of his. That's all you've got? He barked. And a can of peppers. I don't eat much. By the way, my name is Victor Flores. Born in Chiapas, as you told the police, waved in Guanajuato. You believed me? Of course, when Camino de Guanajuato was playing on the first bus, you cried a large puddle. That much? Nearly. Throw out that flashlight, it will give us away. Throw out that flashlight, it'll give us away. It's gone. There, all packs. Can I help you over the fence? Why, when it's been knocked down right over there? Oh, I said I didn't see. Open your eyes wide, Victor Flores. I did a lot of walking in the dark. And don't speak unless you are spoken to. I can't afford to have you give me away. You can count on me, Miguel. I'm not going to get caught again. We're going high, where the bighorn sheep go. I fell in behind and started walking. 3 times that night, from high above, we watched the mojados winding their way single file up the canyon bottoms behind their coyotes. From a distance, they looked like centipedes, which is what Miguel called them. Cut off the head, he said, and the body will die. The 4th time, there was something different about the centipede. Miguel brought out a pair of binoculars. He took a long look. Their backpacks are huge and all the same, he reported. Those are mules, drug runners. Once the moon set, it got so dark I couldn't see my feet. I fell several times, filling my hands with tiny cactus needles. I didn't cry out. Dawn came and we took off our packs. Sit on my right side, Miguel directed. Always on my right side. Why is that? Because I can't hear out of my left ear. Haven't you noticed? Sort of. As the Americans would say, you're not the sharpest knife in the drawer. I do my best. He threw me a needle-nose pliers. I caught them, looking confused. For those cactus needles, he explained. But first, find some tortillas and cheese and grab your can of chiles. Here's a can opener. I drained the water off the chili peppers and spread the food on a rock. My hunger was painful. Trying not to look at his food once was enough for him to describe me as a dog. I reached for one of my peppers. Going north to join your father? My guide said gruffly as he reached for a tortilla and broke off some cheese, then grabbed a pepper. I'm on my own. Looking for excitement. Is that it? Looking to support my mother, my sisters, and my little brother. Eat, he ordered approvingly. I nodded and helped myself, but I didn't say thanks. This man would hate it if I groveled. I thought he would press me about my father. He didn't. How's your family been getting by up till now? He asked instead. I have been farming, raising corn. I used to raise corn myself. That's no way to make a living. How long have you been working in El Norte? Since I was 19, 8 years. Always crossing alone? This is my third time alone. Like everyone else, I used to pay the coyotes. Until I was in a group they abandoned. It was in May, hot as a blacksmith's fire. Half of us died. Never again will I pay them a thing. You know what the coyotes call their customers these days? Polos, I have heard. I was thinking of Rico, the others from the village, and all the men who came before, like our fathers. Chickens, that's right, cooked chickens no less. And the coyotes have another cute name for their underlings who actually guide people across the desert. Poleros. Chicken wranglers? They think that's funny. Meanwhile, we are supposed to regard them as heroes. They are scum, my friend. I'd rather die than pay them a fortune, only to have them betray me at the drop of a hat. When you were deported a few days ago, had the migrant kept you in jail? Soon as I got sewed up, they deported me. The jails were too crowded. I've heard that American jails are really bad. Are you kidding? 3 meals a day and lie around and watch TV? You must be thinking of our Mexican jails. I've been in American jail twice. I hesitated. Did the Border Patrol do that to you then, before they let you go? This? My head, my ribs, my knees? People talk about the Border Patrol doing such things, but I've never seen it. They catch you, they hand you a bottle of clean drinking water, they put you in their air-conditioned Pereira. Pereira? What is that? I was done eating and was pulling cactus needles with the pliers. Dog wagon, truck with a holding cell in the back. That's what we Mojados call them, because the Border Patrol are like dog catchers. If it wasn't the Border Patrol, who beat you up so bad? Vigilantes. I had always heard about Mojados crossing east of Agua Priete on the flats. You saw that stretch from the bus? It looks easy. Hundreds do it every night. I got past the strip of government land where the Border Patrol are so thick, but then I got caught crossing the private ranches. Lots of coyotes led their mojados through there. Some groups get caught, some don't. By vigilantes? Yes, the private militias who are angry with their government for not stopping the flood. It didn't used to be like this. The ranchers used to put out water for people. Before, there were so many of us. Before the coyotes started smashing down their fences, breaking into their houses, stealing their vehicles. Times have changed. These vigilantes, what do they do? Catch people and turn them over to the Border Patrol. But some of them, as I found out, have sick minds. They come from far off to dress up like soldiers, carry guns like soldiers, and commit crimes for which they will never be punished. I cringed, imagining what must have happened to Miguel. They beat you up, and then they turned you over? They would have been arrested for what they did to me. They just dumped me on the road like a piece of meat. I'm sorry, Miguel. Don't be sorry for me or for yourself either. When the bad things happen, you have to stay strong for your family. You have to be a man.